also move quickly. My name is Rose Berger. I'm here representing my neighbors. I want to thank everyone here who's been here all day. Appreciated spending my vacation with you today. We probably all would have preferred someplace with umbrella drinks, but that's okay. Take what we can get. So I've lived in Columbia Heights for 30 years, and the apartment building at 2724 11th Street Northwest, which is a rent control building, has been in abominable shape the whole time that I've lived in the neighborhood and lived on Fairmont Street. 3 years ago, I began working with my neighbors to try to improve their living conditions. And when I talk about abominable living conditions, I'm sure some of you have done your due diligence and walked through some very bad buildings in DC. Well, this is one of them. They have a building that's infested with rats. They have a building that's infested with roaches and with bed bugs. Last year, part of the ceiling collapsed. The plaster is falling away from the walls. The common areas are unsanitary unless the tenants themselves get out and clean them. The north side of the building has an unfinished construction project on it, which left a giant hole in the side of the building. The owners did finally cover that hole with a piece of plywood. That unfinished construction site has become basically a neighborhood garbage dump. So I understand that DCRA is responsible for protecting the health, safety, and economic interests and quality of life of the residents. So in the case of 2724 11th Street, they have utterly and completely failed. First, because the DCRA's housing condition inspectors have been out multiple times. I have reams and reams of notice of violations. Councilmember Graham actually gave me all of the NOVs on this building before he left his position. I've also given those to Councilmember Nadeau. She's very aware of them. We have reams and reams of NOVs. And yet, no fines have been assessed. DCR inspectors come out time and time again, particularly Inspector George Campbell. He finds violations. He comes back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he marks them as abated. There are infants in this building. There are 5 school-age children in this building. 3-year-old Mateo has to be kept away from the peeling lead paint. It's completely, it's completely and utterly abominable. So my experiences with DCRA have been very bad, to put it briefly. When we took some of these issues to, when we were at the Board of Zoning hearing to try to interact with the owner around some of these issues, the management company appeared at that Board of Zoning hearing with a fresh letter from Jatinder Kokar, the chief building official of DCRA, stating, "Dear property owner, congratulations. Your property at 2724 11th Street was recently inspected by DCRA, the Proactive Inspections Unit, and found to be in compliance with all applicable building codes." So, the owner of this building is Ellis J Parker III. He's owned properties in the district for a very long time. Some of the management companies he uses are highly disreputable. The owner continues to put hardship petitions in front of DCRA, and with the sort of automatic rubber stamping of the hardship petitions, which again I don't really understand, tenants in this building have then been charged a 31.5% rent increase on a building that is unlivable, which they then had to launch their own defense to have the hardship petition reviewed, which it was then finally denied to the owner. So this is, again, just for 3 years, I've been working with the neighbors on this. Most have been living in this building for 10 years, some for 20 years. The conditions are abominable. When Councilmember Grosso's team came over, some of them literally had to walk out of the building to collect themselves because of seeing the blood on the walls from the bed bugs that were biting the children. I mean, I don't like to bring this kind of really gross living conditions before this panel, but when it comes down to it with DCRA, this is what it looks like when DCRA fails. So I apologize for going over time. I'm afraid that in the district we've come to see DCRA as too big to fail, too important to fail. And that's something that has to change. It has to change. Thank you.